going to quickly move on to the topic of today is speeches, and our sub-skill is going to be about speech. Now, speaking is part of our life. We are speaking all the time. And when asked why people communicate, there are a number of reasons why people communicate. Connection, building relations, and therefore, aside from our unfortunate friends who are mute or impaired, cannot speak, but they are also blessed because they use sign language, very interesting sign language. So that is their kind of speech. Now, but the speaking of those without that kind of impairment, first, I did the phonetic transcription is here, a speech. Now, when you are pronouncing, the first sounds, first two letters and the last two letters should be clearly heard when you are as speaking. Now, if you say speech, so you can hear me speech. Now, you shouldn't swallow the first sounds and the last sounds. They should be very, very audible. Now, also, okay. All right. So after that, you can see a speech, and you can see the meaning of speech. A speech, speaking and expressing thoughts to articulate sound. Speaking and expressing thought to articulate sound, you can see. And then our focus is going to be on something we call an informative speech. On my screen, you see a lady, former first lady of which country? America. Now, this lady is very good at speaking, oratory, very, very amazing with oratory skills. And so I have somehow included her as the okay. All right, I've included her as a representation of perfect speaker. And now we continue with the meaning of an informative speech. Now, for speeches, today you are here in Triumph class. But in many countries, there is a program called TED Talk. TED Talks. Those people present exactly what we are looking at today, informative speeches. That is what they present. Someone will organize a topic about emotions, artificial intelligence, and also a topic about love that excites everyone. A topic about love. So they will go deep and look at love. They will go deep and look at it between the brain and the heart. Which one falls in love first? That one we shall discuss it as a class. Between a brain and the heart, which one falls in love first? And which one falls out of love? That is a kind of a speech. You could organize such a speech and talk about it. So they say the brain does, or the heart, whatever. Now you read it and present it. Common in TED Talks. TED Talks are organized speeches with audiences, but usually they talk about something informative. Now we go quickly into what an informative speech is. Let's talk about what an informative speech is. Okay, so yes, an informative speech is one that intends to educate the audience on a topic. There are many different types of these speeches. You can see from the word inform. Informative, we have inform to mean. What does inform mean, class? To inform. How many words can you get from the word inform? How many? Class. What does inform mean? Inform. Joram. To inform.
Okay, so I believe it means maybe passing a message or enlightening a person for the first time.
Very good. You've already concluded it, to enlighten for the first time. Very good, Jeremy. You are following this lesson. For the very first time, you are enlightening someone about something. Very good. Proud of you. And then, because you're enlightening them for the first time, so you are informing them. And this is the nature of these speeches. Now, people are making a lot of money from just speaking and writing speeches for others. So you'd never know. Today you're a student and this topic may influence your next decision. It is okay. And that's why we get to class. So now, because you're informing people about the next, the speeches describe, these speeches, some of them describe an object and could instruct an audience on how to perform a specific task. That is what these speeches do. So we are going to quickly look at why we do informative speeches. You may not write these, you would want to follow and maybe take brief notes because you'll find them on our website. All this will be loaded on our website, so you'll be able to read at your pace. The main goal of this speech is to enlighten. Joram mentioned that already. To enlighten. And then the topics covered here is to help the audience understand the subject better. Remember, in this speech, people do not know about the topic, and if they know, it is very little knowledge about that topic. I'll give an example. You have watched Titanic, the ship, the movie Titanic, but you may not know exactly how much it cost to build the Titanic and when it sank and how many people perished, died in the Titanic. Now, you are going to educate people to know. They know, yes, there's Titanic. Oh, it sank in 1912. But you do not know what led to the sinking, who built the Titanic, how much was spent in constructing that ship, and how long did it take for it to reach the seabed, to settle in the seabed? How long? Now, those are details in an informative speech. And when someone presents such a speech, you will leave the room and you're like, okay, I didn't know this. So they say the more knowledge you get, the more you realize you don't know. The more you read, the more you realize you don't know. The more you listen to people talking, the more you realize you don't know. Yes, so that is it. And then we continue informative. And then now we move quickly to examples of informative speeches. I don't know if I can remove this. Annotate. Um, we say a college, uh, a college counselor, uh, a college professor lecturing about a specific topic. That could be a that could be an example of an informative topic. And also a guest speaker presenting to a group of people, a company president, um, talking about talking about the last quarter sale, and then also a pastor talking about the reasons behind Holy Communion. You know, those are some of the uh, those are some of the examples of informative speeches. And now we move to a doctor talking to a group of students about the causes and how to avoid a heart disease. You may know that heart diseases exist, but you as a student, humanly, you may not know what causes them and how you can avoid it. So that makes it an informative speech. All right. So now uh, we move to types of informative speeches. Types of informative speeches. My screen is freezing. Let me see. Screen is freezing. We move to types of informative speeches. Okay. All right. So the first type is about an object. Speeches about objects. This is frozen. Okay. Okay, maybe we could. I will stop sharing, then share again. Maybe this would make sense. Sharing, stop sharing, and then I do it again. Let's do it again. Okay. Okay. All right, let's do this. All right, so the first one, we move to the types of informative. The first one was examples. Slide 5 was telling us examples of informative speeches. And then we now move to the types. The first one is an object speech. Now, I talked about an example, which is the Titanic. For those who are going to do a Pearson exam, IELTS, international exams, you could be asked to talk about an object as a random question. A random question. They'll not specify and say, talk about a pen. No, they talk about an object that you feel you'd like to share with us, to let us know how it operates, how it works. So you could mention maybe a plane, an aeroplane. For example, this American Air Force One in America, that plane has very, very interesting details. You should read about it. And also, we have the car, the presidential car in America called, nicknamed as the Beast. That car carries the American president. That's an object. You could have a speech and you can be given 2 hours to present, to talk about that object. Seriously present. Now, when you talk about that object, you give us details. That presidential car for America, I'm told, it's like the president carries the country in a car. When the tires are short, it flies. There is a hospital inside, so the president can get a blood transfusion inside the car. It's bulletproof. You cannot burn it. You know, those details about the car. How much does it weigh? How much money does it cost? Who designed that beast, the presidential car for America? It has very, very interesting details. That's an object. So you talk about it seriously in a presentation, in a speech. And then an object could also be a human, part of a human body. I could talk about the tongue, something special about the tongue, details about the tongue, or hair, a strand of hair. What is in hair? What is so special about hair? That is an object also. We could talk about maybe an ears or the heart or lungs. Those are also part of objects, or a building. So you can see the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Details about the Burj Khalifa. How many times has it been struck by lightning? Who constructed it? Which building is competing with the Burj Khalifa as the longest building in the world? The Eiffel Tower. Those are objects, could also be buildings. All right, and then we move on to the next. We move on to the next. Okay, sorry. So our next is an example, the Titanic. This was my simple introduction, just briefly. And I don't know who is going to read for us this. Who is reading for us this, so that I want to hear your voices. He's reading for us this. So we hear your voices. I want to hear the voices. And by the way, you're going to do speeches. I will still listen to you. Who is reading? Joram, can you read for us again quickly? Thank you. Joram, are you
Okay,
there?
I thought maybe someone else could just do that, maybe just for the sake of equitable sharing of the of
Can
the
you?
time.
Okay, do you have someone, suggest someone is there to read for us?
I don't know. We have Kamau. I don't know if Kamau can read
No,
for us.
come on. Uh, someone else?
I can read for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Where should I start from? Is it
The sinking.
okay? The sinking of the Titanic remains one of the most famous tragedi- tragedies in history. The Titanic hit disaster head-on when it ran into an iceberg 4 days after its departure. The ship eventually disappeared from sight. To date, it remains a tremendous accident, never to be forgotten.
Never to be forgotten. Thank you very much, Kamal. Yes, that is briefly about the Titanic. Now, when you're presenting these speeches, remember you don't go reading on paper. You get everything off head and only go with some bullets, small points on paper. And then you present about an object. And then we move on to a process speech. A process speech. A process speech. Okay. Okay, let's move. Process speeches. A process is the way something is created, made, done, or how it works. An informative speech about a process then describes a step-by-step creation of something or a concept. You are going to teach people how to make to cook spaghetti. That's a process, step by step. You see these people who do cooking shows on YouTube, on Facebook, TikTok Live. They take you step by step. First, they organize what they're going to use for cooking, and then they'll tell you what happens after. What do you put first? What is next? Stir, test the salt, add this, leave to boil for 15 minutes. That's a step by step process to do something. If you want to maybe how to save a document, a Word document, then you know what to follow for a Word document. How do you save your Word document? Where do you go to? Step by step. So that speech can also it's also a part of informing people, educating them, enlightening them. Okay, a process, step by step. And then we have an example here. Speeches about processes. The love affair with ice cream, how to make ice cream. So I started it. The love affair with ice cream is centuries old. That's the introduction. It came from ancient Greeks to date. Modern ways of making it. You get all ingredients you need. You must know how to make ice cream. So I quickly concluded it. But in our next, after the types, we are going to see how your introduction in a speech should look like. And I will beg that you follow carefully because we are going to have it as our assignment. So that is it about ice cream. And then we move on to events. An event speech. This is our third. The first was object. We have a process, and then we are coming to an event. Now, an event is something that occurred. So, for example, you could talk about World Cup tournament. Now, when you're talking about this event, you are going to describe it in full. The time, when did World Cup start? Who launched it? Who started it? And then we move on to which country hosted the first World Cup? Which body governs World Cup? FIFA. What is FIFA in full? And then which country has the most trophies? Now, that is also about an event. And then you could talk about Christmas. That's an event. That's an event. And then also maybe music awards, Grammy awards, the Golden Globe awards. You know, it's an event. Basketball, you know, Africa basketball tournament, something like that. That's an event. So you talk. So you move deeply into that event. And then the most interesting and very common is concepts. And I think this is our last type of speech, concepts. And also I would like someone to read for us this. Kamau, can you choose who is reading for us? Kamau, please. Do you have a lady there? Ladies, please.
Can I read?
Yeah, sure.
Concepts refer to ideas, beliefs, theories, attitudes, opinions, or principles. When
Good.
speaking about concepts, you may have to find concrete ideas to make abstract. In brackets, existing in thought, not physically seen. Ideas more relatable and tangible to your audience. Example can be love at first sight.
Yes, very good. What's your name again?
Amina.
Amina, good. Thank you, Amina, for reading. Yes, very good, well read. And yes, love at first sight. It's a concept we can't see. It's an idea. We can't challenge it. It's in the mind. You know, we cannot challenge it. Our example is love at first sight. That's a topic. Does it exist? That should be the question we're asking. Is there love at first sight? Or it is a lie? Now, someone who has such a topic will go deep and tell us either yes, it's there, with concrete examples, will educate us about love at first sight. And another concept could be emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. Now, we have a number of intelligences. There's emotional intelligence, artificial intelligence, adversity, and then also we have what is that? Social intelligence, where you connect with the people properly. Emotional intelligence, how you manage your emotions. When you're angry, how do you deal with it? And then we have intelligence quotient, IQ. Now, those are grades, intelligence of the brain, where you read and understand concepts, ideas like this. You understand them perfectly and pass, succeed. And then artificial intelligence, where we're using robots, we are using AI, artificial intelligence, that, ChatGPT, etc. Now, those are concepts. You don't see them, but you're trying to understand. They're in the mind. Why do people break up in relationships? First you are in love and then you're breaking up. Why? How does it turn sour? Where does the pain come from? What led to that? Okay, those are concepts. An idea. Another idea could be maybe why animals, especially dogs, are very loyal to their bosses, their keepers, especially dogs. Why are they loyal? Why dogs? Cats are not like that. That's a concept, and you talk about it at length. Yes, and then now let me see. Let's check the time. We have about 2 minutes. We could quickly go through the introduction, and then the body. The body is there. Then the conclusion, the introduction. Okay, let's start from here first. The introduction. Where is the introduction? We are almost there. The introduction. Okay. Oh, I think one slide is missing. The introduction. I've given an example. Example of an introduction. Now, in the introduction, I'm going to include that slide after this. I think it accidentally skipped off while I was organizing this. So in the introduction, usually we start with something mesmerizing. And we are going to look at that tomorrow in the first 30 minutes before we do the next topic. First 20 minutes, then we'll conclude this properly. But I've given an example of an introduction here. According to the Managing Director Triumphclass, participants slept for only 2 hours during the examination session, and 80% reported a drowsy feeling 24 hours a day. Now, when you are introducing, when you are speaking, use lot of confidence. And one way is by taking it slow, a little bit slow, and not rushing and panicking. According to the MD Triumphclass, participants slept for only 2 hours during the examination sessions, and 80% have used the statistic. Now, when you use statistics in introducing your speech, it shows you're very, very smart and you have done quality research. 80% reported a drowsy feeling 24 hours a day. Tomorrow we shall look at what you should include in your introduction. These are my examples. Now, when we come to the body, this is the largest part of the speech and covers the main points with supporting details. So you're going to tell us about how to make ice cream now, the body, the details of until you get to the end. How to fix a computer which is spoiled, details to the end. Now, select the most important details to avoid a mix-up and confusion. You can use your brain. You see how you grow in language because you're going to learn how to judge. Which one is most important? What can I say? What should I leave out when you are preparing your speech? Not everything is worth mentioning. There are certain things you'll mention. For example, I'm told when you're in love, the hearts, if you are the boyfriend and the girlfriend, your hearts beat at the same time. The heartbeat, they beat at the same time. Two, 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 two. When you're in love, that is something interesting. Now, when you mention such a thing and you're looking at a love topic, the audience will laugh. They'll wonder, really? So if you want to check that your partner loves you or not, you touch their heart and see if it is beating the same time as yours. All right. And then our conclusion, this should offer a summary of what the audience should have learned. As you are concluding, you could just summarize to just a few points as you are concluding. And please make sure you signal that you're concluding for any speech, not just informative. In a speech, you must show that you are concluding. For example, some of the phrases you could use: in conclusion, finally, let me conclude by saying, as I close, allow me say, let me end by emphasizing these key points. And then we come to lastly, I gave an example of the conclusion here. Each time you think about, these are sleepless nights now for Triumphclass students. They're reading so hard that they're not sleeping, and therefore they're struggling. Now, as you're concluding your speech about sleep deprivation, maybe, why you should sleep, importance of sleep. Now you're concluding your speech and you're saying, each time you think about having sleepless nights due to exams, think about the long-term consequences such as memory loss. Remember, prevention is better than cure. It's better than cure. And then we come to the conclusion. I've given you a few quotes. Our class is done for minutes. A few quotations here as we are closing. There are always 3 speeches for everyone: the one you practiced, the one you gave, and the one you wish you gave. Tomorrow we start by analyzing these quotations. The one you practiced, the one you gave, and the one you wish you gave. Who said this? Dale Carnegie. The second, you can speak well if your tongue can deliver the message of your heart. John Ford. The last one, best way to conquer stage fright is to know what you are talking about. Michael H. Mescon. All right. So there we are. I hope we have understood, picked 1 or 2 things about today's lesson. And if there's any question, we just have a little more, 10 minutes tomorrow to conclude fully, and then we'll be moving on to something else. So today it was about speaking, and we're going to practice. Each one of you will be given a topic, a random topic, and you're going to organize a speech about it and speak to us online, virtually. Yes. So yes, if there are no questions, we could conclude tomorrow. And then also for grammar, I have a link that I'll be sharing with you in the group. I didn't put it in a slide, but I'll share with you the link. We'll put it on your website, but I will also give you the code to access the class code so that you're able to sign up for a small grammar assignment, which is parts of speech. It is a very interesting platform where you learn grammar. Yes, very, very interesting. So we are going to sign up. It's called No Red Ink. We are going to sign up tomorrow for that platform. So if there are no questions, then we may close. It's already past time. And thank you so much, class. You've been an amazing class. And so I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for being active and keep growing in English. Practice what we have learned. All right. Okay, so see you tomorrow. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, whatever. Yeah, it's a good night from Kigali.
Good night too.
Good night. Good night.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Good night. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.